I'm Eric Rasmussen once again, and I'm here to tell you about the game of Warhammer 40k. It starts out in the 41st millennium. Um, Basically, the universe has kind of fallen apart and gone to war, and they've turned it into a tabletop game to play with miniature models, such as types like this or like this. Um, You play it on a table of either 4 foot by 4 foot or 4 foot by 6 foot, and depending on if you want to go crazy and play like planet-sized games, you can have infinite size tables. But those are the two generally accepted sizes. You're going to first need a rule book. This is your standard rules that tells you how to play the game. And once you get that and read through the first couple pages, then it's got some lore and stuff, which really was a lot of fun to me because I like the actual story of the game. But then you're going to need to pick the armies that you like. I've chose I have 3 armies that I play with. My favorite is my Space Wolves. So you'll need a codex, which will explain the rules for each units that your army can have. So like I said, Space Wolves are my favorite. I have a few of my models here for them. Oops, I knocked my arm off. So I have a few of my models for him. I have Bjorn the Fell-Handed. He's a kind of a crazy old guy that does a lot of damage. And then I have my little Rune Priest, kind of a magical dude. And then what the Space Wolves are known for is their Thunderwolf Cavalry. I have a lot of those because they're one of my favorite units to field. As far as the Space Wolves, they are a human race, but they are modeled very closely after the Vikings, and that's near and dear to my heart because I descend from Vikings, so I have a lot of Norwegian descent. So that's why I chose them. They were my first army, and actually this was my very first model I ever purchased, and I did a decent job painting him up. There's not a lot of building because he's a fine cast, so I didn't have to build the model very much. So there are other armies, such as Necrons, which was my second army that I bought or started to build. These are a few of these are your standard warriors, and this is a Triox Stalker. I went and tried to get my wife involved in the game. She's not too interested in tabletop games, but her favorite color is purple, so I went with purple and silver scheme because, well, they're the Necrons are a race of almost zombie robots that have a very Egyptian feel. I really like them because of their lore of how they just, no matter how many you kill, they just keep coming. They're like an endless tide of robotic bits that just keep rebuilding and coming at you. And I thought that was a lot of fun to play. The idea of that would be to play that. So that's why I went with that with my second one. So there's those guys. My third and final army are the orcs. Well, the space orcs specifically. There is a fantasy version of them as well, but I chose to stay with 40k, so I have the space orcs. Here's my war boss, and he's the leader of my orc army. And I've got a truck here, and one of his a war buggy. I actually built this. I scratch built this one. It's a whole bunch of different models that I put together to make it into this, which is actually a whole lot of fun. And the orcs lend themselves to that a lot because you get the option of taking in what we call kit bashing. You take bits and stuff. As you notice, these are the same tires on this as it is over here, but this is actually a Space Marine land speeder. And getting into that, there are plenty of other options. There's your vanilla Space Marines, and there's Imperial Guard, and those are, and then there's Adeptus Mechanicus. They're your human races, and then there's Chaos. There's Tyranids, which are like a bug kind of army. Then there's the Eldar, which are very much like elves, and they're both a dark and a light side to them. And then there's the Tau, which kind of plays like the UN. They're very much for the greater good. And they remind me of a little fish people, but they have big robots. So once you choose your army, then you're gonna need to find your table, and you'll get terrain, and there's some crash planes or bunker bits, or even trees, and that's what you basically will use to set those up on the table, and then you will take turns and to play. But that's my basic quick little rundown on the world of 40K. Is pick your army, or pick the army that you like the most, and build it the way you like it. Don't try and be super competitive. Don't be crazy about it. Just build it to have fun, and that's what I do. So, thank you and goodbye.